In a quiet corner of the universe, Earth was a small blue planet, spinning in the vastness of space. People lived their lives unaware of the danger that lurked beyond their skies. The Galactic Empire, a powerful group of alien species, had set their eyes on Earth. They believed humans were weak and helpless, ripe for conquest. This was a grave mistake. One day, a massive fleet of alien ships appeared in the sky. They were huge, metallic, and filled with advanced weapons. The ships glimmered under the sunlight, casting long shadows over cities below. As the ships descended, panic spread through the streets. People looked up in fear, their hearts racing. Sirens blared and children cried for their parents. In the heart of the city, a group of scientists watched the invasion unfold from their high-tech lab. Dr. Maria Torres, a brilliant scientist, stood at the command center, her brow furrowed with worry. "We have to act fast," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos outside. "If we don't do something now, we will lose everything." Dr. Torres had been working on a top-secret project, Orbital Defense Platforms. These platforms were designed to protect Earth from any threats in space. For years, she and her team had labored away in secrecy, creating powerful weapons that could be deployed from orbit. But time was running out. They needed to get the platforms operational before it was too late. As the first alien ships began to fire upon cities, explosions lit up the sky. Buildings crumbled and flames erupted, sending thick clouds of smoke into the air. The people of Earth were terrified, feeling utterly helpless against the might of the Galactic Empire. Many believed that there was no hope left. "What can we do?" they whispered to each other. But Dr. Torres refused to give in to despair. "We have one chance," she declared. "We must activate the orbital defense platforms now." She rallied her team, and they hurried to the launch station. Each member understood the gravity of the situation. This was not just about their lives, it was about the future of humanity. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their attack, confident in their superiority. Commander Zarkon, the leader of the invading fleet, sneered as he watched the chaos below. "These humans are pathetic," he declared to his crew. "They think they can fight us. We will crush them without a second thought." His eyes glowed with arrogance as he ordered his ships to press forward. Back in the lab, Dr. Torres and her team worked furiously. They typed commands into their computers, their fingers flying over the keys. "Launch sequence initiated!" shouted one of the engineers, excitement mingling with fear. They could see the alien ships on the radar approaching fast. "We don't have much time!" The tension in the room was palpable. Everyone knew that the fate of Earth rested in their hands. As the countdown began, Dr. Torres took a deep breath. "This is it. We have to believe in our work and in each other," she said. The team nodded, determination shining in their eyes. 3, 2, 1, launch. With that command, the orbital defense platforms were activated. Suddenly, a series of bright lights shot up into the sky, illuminating the darkness. The platforms, armed with powerful laser cannons, emerged from their hidden locations in orbit. They were finally ready to defend their home. As the aliens noticed the bright lights, they paused, confusion spreading through their ranks. "What is that?" Zarkon shouted, a hint of panic creeping into his voice. The humans had surprised them. The orbital defense platforms aimed at the invading fleet, their weapons primed and ready. "Prepare to fire!" Dr. Torres ordered, her heart racing with adrenaline. The moment they had been waiting for was here. With a loud hum, the platforms unleashed their powerful beams of energy, striking the alien ships with incredible force. The first blast hit a massive ship, causing it to shake violently. The crew inside scrambled to regain control. But it was too late. As the first enemy ship exploded, cheers erupted in the lab. "We did it!" someone shouted. The humans were no longer helpless. They had unleashed their hidden power. The tide of battle was turning. The Galactic Empire would soon learn that Earth was not so easy to conquer. The fight for survival had just begun. The battle in the skies above Earth raged on. The orbital defense platforms had surprised the Galactic Empire, but the fight was far from over. Dr. Maria Torres and her team watched with anxious eyes as their powerful lasers struck the alien ships, creating explosions that lit up the darkened sky. "Keep firing!" Dr. Torres shouted, her voice firm and commanding. "We have to show them we will not back down." The scientists and engineers in the lab worked tirelessly, their fingers dancing over keyboards as they monitored the attack. They knew this was their chance to turn the tide in favor of humanity. Meanwhile, Commander Zarkon, still reeling from the unexpected assault, was furious. "How could they have such powerful weapons?" he bellowed to his crew. "Prepare all ships for full attack! We will not let these weak humans defeat us!" The crew scrambled to follow his orders, but they were shaken. For the first time, they faced a challenge they did not expect. As more blasts fired from the orbital defense platforms, the alien ships began to take heavy damage. The once mighty fleet of the Galactic Empire now struggled to maintain its formation. One by one, ships fell from the sky, crashing into the Earth's atmosphere with fiery explosions. The people of Earth, watching from the ground, began to cheer as they witnessed the tide turning. "Look! They're fighting back!" a young boy exclaimed, his eyes wide with hope. Families gathered in the streets, staring up at the heavens. They had always believed they were powerless against the vastness of space, but now they saw their defenders rising to the occasion. In the command center, Dr. Torres felt a spark of hope igniting within her. "We can win this," she said to her team, who were now filled with excitement and energy. "Let's not just defend ourselves, let's push them back." The team nodded, their determination renewed. They were no longer just scientists, they were warriors fighting for their home. The aliens began to regroup, realizing they needed a new strategy. They had underestimated humanity's ingenuity. "Deploy the fighters!" Zarkon ordered, his voice steady despite his anger. Smaller alien ships broke away from the main fleet, ready to engage the Earth's defenses in a more personal fight. As the fighters approached, Dr. Torres noticed their movements on the radar. "They're trying to get closer," she said, urgency creeping into her tone. "We need to increase our defenses." She turned to her team. "Activate the shield generators on the platforms." The technicians scrambled to execute the command, their hearts racing as they rushed to set everything up. The shield generators hummed to life, creating a protective barrier around the orbital defense platforms. The energy field shimmered, ready to absorb incoming fire from the alien fighters. The smaller ships darted through the air, firing their weapons at the platforms. Bright flashes of light filled the sky as lasers collided with the shields. Some energy blasts broke through, causing minor damage, but the majority were absorbed. The platform stood strong, and the team cheered at their success. "Fire back!" Dr. Torres shouted, and the platforms unleashed their deadly beams once more. The alien fighters had no chance against the powerful lasers. One by one, they exploded, raining debris down onto the Earth below. The people cheered louder now, feeling a surge of pride and unity. "Look at them go!" a woman exclaimed, holding her child close. "They're not giving up!" Dr. Torres knew that this victory was just the beginning. As the last of the alien fighters fell from the sky, she felt a sense of hope. But she also knew that the Galactic Empire would not stop easily. They would return angrier than ever. The humans needed to be prepared. "Let's use this time wisely," she said to her team. "We need to enhance our defenses and develop new strategies for the battles to come." The team nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. They would not only defend Earth, they would become a force to be reckoned with. In the following hours, they worked tirelessly to improve the orbital defense platforms. They shared ideas, brainstormed new weapon systems, and prepared for the next encounter. Dr. Torres felt a newfound sense of purpose. They were no longer just scientists. They were protectors of Earth, ready to face any challenge that came their way. As night fell over the planet, the people looked up at the sky. They no longer felt helpless, they felt powerful. The humans had shown their hidden strength, and the Galactic Empire would soon learn that Earth was not to be underestimated. Together, they would fight for their future. The atmosphere above Earth buzzed with tension as the remnants of the Galactic Empire's fleet regrouped after suffering losses. Commander Zarkon paced in his command ship, furious and confused. "These humans have shown unexpected power," he growled. "We cannot underestimate them any longer. Prepare for a full-scale assault." His orders echoed through the ship, and the crew scrambled to follow. On the ground, Earth's defenders celebrated their recent success, but Dr. Maria Torres and her team knew they could not relax. "We've won a battle, but the war is far from over," she reminded her colleagues in the command center. The cheers from the streets could be heard, but the scientists understood the truth. The Galactic Empire would return with a vengeance. With the threat still looming, Dr. Torres gathered her team. "We need to train our forces and prepare for the next attack. We've proven we can fight back, but we need to be ready for whatever they throw at us." Her team nodded, determined to build on their success. They began organizing training sessions for Earth's military forces, teaching them how to work alongside the orbital defense platforms. Days turned into weeks and the training paid off. The soldiers learned to coordinate their attacks with the platforms, using their new skills to defend their cities. They practiced every day, building their confidence and strength. The scientists worked hard to enhance the platforms, adding new features and improving their firing systems. Then, one fateful morning, the alarm sounded again. "They're back!" a technician shouted, eyes wide as he monitored the radar. The Galactic Empire's fleet was approaching once more, larger and angrier than before. Panic rippled through the command center, but Dr. Torres held her ground. "Stay calm," she said. "We've trained for this. We can win again." As the alien ships came into view, the tension in the command center was palpable. The massive fleet, now equipped with more advanced weapons, loomed ominously in the sky. Zarkon smiled, confident that this time, victory would be his. "Show these humans what real power looks like," he ordered his crew. The fleet powered up its weapons, ready to unleash destruction. Dr. Torres quickly activated the orbital defense platforms. "Let's show them what we can do," she shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. The platforms hummed to life, their powerful lasers glowing as they took aim at the incoming alien fleet. "Prepare to fire on my command." With a deep breath, Dr. Torres counted down. 3, 2, 1, fire! The lasers shot out, piercing the darkened sky. Bright beams of energy struck the first wave of alien ships, causing them to explode in fiery bursts. The soldiers on the ground watched in awe as the platforms fired, their confidence growing. The alien fleet retaliated, unleashing a barrage of fire. The skies lit up with bright flashes, and Earth's defenders braced for impact. Some lasers penetrated the shield generators, but the platforms held strong. The shields flickered but did not collapse. Dr. Torres felt a surge of hope. They had prepared for this moment. "Keep firing!" she commanded. The platforms responded, their lasers slicing through the air. Soldiers on the ground launched missiles, coordinating their attacks with the platforms above. Together, they created a wall of defense against the alien ships. As the battle raged on, Earth's forces began to gain the upper hand. One by one, the alien ships fell, crashing to the ground in a spectacular display of fire and smoke. The ground troops cheered, their spirits lifted. They had never felt so powerful before. Zarkon, witnessing his fleet crumble, felt panic rising within him. "Retreat!" he shouted, but it was too late. The remaining ships struggled to escape, but the humans pressed their advantage. The orbital defense platforms targeted the fleeing ships, firing with precision. The final alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash, marking the end of the battle. Cheers erupted in the command center as the team celebrated their first major victory. Dr. Torres felt tears of joy in her eyes. "We did it! We actually did it!" she exclaimed, embracing her team. The people of Earth took to the streets, celebrating their triumph. They lit fireworks, sang songs, and danced in joy. They had stood up to a powerful enemy and emerged victorious. In that moment, the world felt united, filled with hope and pride. Dr. Torres knew this victory would be remembered for generations. It was not just a win against the Galactic Empire, it was a symbol of humanity's resilience. Earth had shown its strength, and there was no turning back. The fight for their future had only just begun, and they were ready for whatever came next. The victory over the Galactic Empire filled Earth with hope, but Dr. Maria Torres knew the fight was far from over. The Galactic Empire would not give up easily. They would return, angrier and more determined. As she looked out over the city from the command center, she felt a sense of urgency. Earth needed more allies if they were to stand against such a powerful foe. One evening, as the sun set behind the horizon, Dr. Torres gathered her team for an urgent meeting. "We need to reach out to any potential allies," she said, her voice steady. "If we can find friends in space, we may have a better chance against the Empire." Her team nodded in agreement, their eyes bright with determination. "But who can we trust?" one technician asked. "The Galactic Empire has a strong presence throughout the galaxy." Dr. Torres thought for a moment. "We need to consider all possibilities. There are many species out there. Some may have suffered under the Empire's rule, just like us. If we can find them, they might be willing to join our cause." After hours of discussion, the team decided to send out a signal, broadcasting a message into the depths of space. The message was simple. Earth is looking for allies against the Galactic Empire. If you are willing to fight for freedom, respond to this message. Days passed with no response. Dr. Torres felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, but she refused to lose hope. Just when she was about to give up, an unexpected reply came through. Attention, Earth. This is Captain Elysia of the Biloran Alliance. We have received your message and would like to meet. The command center erupted in cheers. They had found an ally! Set up a meeting, Dr. Torres instructed her team. They quickly prepared for the arrival of the Bilorans, a species known for their advanced technology and fierce independence. The anticipation was palpable as they awaited their guests. A few days later, the Biloran ship landed at a secure location on Earth. The ship was sleek and silver, reflecting the sunlight as it touched down. Dr. Torres stood at the entrance, ready to welcome their new allies. As the ramp lowered, a tall figure stepped out. Captain Elysia was striking, with shimmering blue skin and silver hair that seemed to dance in the air. Her eyes sparkled with intelligence and determination. "Greetings, Earthlings," she said, her voice smooth and confident. "I am here to discuss the fight against the Galactic Empire." Dr. Torres extended her hand. "Thank you for coming. We need your help to defend our planet and push back against the Empire." Captain Elysia nodded, her expression serious. "We have heard of your recent victory. The Bilorans are no strangers to the Empire's cruelty. They have oppressed us for too long. We want to join your fight." The two leaders quickly began discussing strategies. Dr. Torres explained how the orbital defense platforms worked and shared their recent victories. Captain Elysia listened closely, offering her own insights and strategies from her experiences in battle. "The Empire is strong, but they are also arrogant," Captain Elysia said. "They believe they are unbeatable. If we can use that against them, we can turn the tide in our favor." Together, they formed a plan. The Bilorans would provide advanced technology and intelligence about the Empire's fleet. In return, Earth would share their knowledge of the defense platforms and their recent combat experience. It was a partnership based on mutual respect and shared goals. As the meeting concluded, Dr. Torres felt a sense of excitement. They had gained not only an ally, but a friend. The two leaders stood together, ready to face the challenges ahead. But as they prepared to leave, an alarm sounded in the command center. "Incoming ships!" a technician shouted, panic in his voice. The radar showed a fleet approaching rapidly, and the signature matched that of the Galactic Empire. "Everyone to battle stations!" Dr. Torres yelled, her heart racing. The time for planning was over. The fight was here. Captain Elysia turned to Dr. Torres, her eyes fierce. "We will not back down. Together we will show the Empire that Earth is not helpless." Dr. Torres nodded, determination burning in her chest. They were ready to stand and fight side by side. As the two forces prepared for battle, the air crackled with energy and hope. Earth had found allies in the dark, and together they would face the Galactic Empire head-on. The stage was set for a clash that would decide the fate of their worlds. The day had come. Earth's defenders and their new allies, the Bilorans, stood ready for the final battle against the Galactic Empire. The command center buzzed with activity as soldiers prepared their weapons and strategized their next moves. Dr. Maria Torres paced the room, her heart racing with anticipation and determination. "Today, we fight for our freedom," she declared, addressing the troops gathered around her. "We have already proven our strength, but this battle will be the greatest test of our resolve. The Empire will not back down easily. We must work together to protect our planet." The soldiers cheered, their spirits high. Captain Elysia of the Biloran Alliance stood beside Dr. Torres, her presence commanding respect. "The Empire is approaching, and their fleet is larger than ever. But with our combined forces, we have a chance. We know their tactics, and we will use that knowledge to our advantage," she said, her voice steady and confident. The two leaders reviewed their strategy one last time. The orbital defense platforms would form a protective shield around Earth, targeting the enemy ships as they entered the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Earth's ground forces and the Bilorans would engage the Empire's troops directly. It was a bold plan, but both leaders knew it was their best shot at victory. As the radar screens lit up with blips of the approaching fleet, tension filled the command center. The Galactic Empire's ships loomed on the horizon, their dark forms blocking out the sun. Dr. Torres felt a knot in her stomach as she watched the ships draw closer. "Prepare for battle!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the fear. Soldiers took their positions, ready to defend their home. The hum of the orbital defense platforms resonated in the background, sending shivers of anticipation through the air. Then the Empire struck. Lasers fired from the alien ships, cutting through the atmosphere like lightning. The platforms sprang into action, their beams of light shooting toward the enemy. Explosions erupted in the sky as the beams hit their targets, taking out several enemy ships. Cheers erupted from the defenders as they saw their strategy working. Dr. Torres felt a surge of hope. "Keep firing!" she commanded, watching as the skies lit up with battle. The soldiers on the ground launched their missiles, supporting the defense platforms above. Together, they created a wall of protection for Earth. But the Galactic Empire was relentless. They regrouped and counterattacked, their ships moving in perfect formation. The battle quickly intensified as more explosions filled the air, and the ground shook beneath them. Dr. Torres and Captain Elysia strategized on the fly, directing their forces and adapting to the Empire's tactics. "This is just the beginning," Captain Elysia shouted, rallying her troops. "We will not falter. For freedom!" Her words inspired the soldiers, who fought with renewed vigor. The Byloran ships flew alongside Earth's forces, engaging the Empire's fleet in aerial combat. The battle raged on for hours, with both sides suffering losses. Dr. Torres could see her soldiers fighting bravely, but the Empire seemed to keep coming. Just when it seemed the tide was turning against them, an unexpected shift occurred. The Byloran ships executed a daring maneuver, flanking the Empire's fleet. With surprising agility, they took down several key ships in one coordinated strike. The Galactic Empire was thrown into chaos, and Dr. Torres seized the moment. "Now is our chance! Press the attack!" she commanded. The soldiers rallied, pushing forward with everything they had. They could feel the momentum shifting in their favor. The enemy began to retreat, their once mighty fleet crumbling under the combined power of Earth and the Bylorans. Dr. Torres watched in disbelief as the Galactic Empire's ships started to fall from the sky, exploding in brilliant flashes of light. "Keep pushing! Don't let up!" she shouted, her voice ringing with determination. The soldiers pressed forward, their spirits soaring. They had fought for their freedom, and it was paying off. In a final push, the orbital defense platforms unleashed a barrage of fire, targeting the last remnants of the enemy fleet. With one final blast, the last ship of the Galactic Empire was destroyed, marking a stunning victory for Earth and its allies. Cheers erupted across the battlefield. Soldiers hugged each other, tears of joy streaming down their faces. Dr. Torres and Captain Elysia stood together, their hearts filled with pride. They had faced a powerful enemy and emerged victorious. As the smoke cleared and the sun broke through the clouds, a new day dawned for Earth. They had fought for their freedom and had proven that they were not helpless. Together, they had shown the galaxy the strength of their unity and courage. The battle was won, but the war for peace and justice would continue. For now, however, Earth could celebrate its hard-won victory and look toward a brighter future.